Hello and welcome to our session today on RealCare Baby Best Practices Teacher Showcase. We are excited to share ideas with you that we get from teachers from around the country. We're always asking for ideas for best practices, for tips using RealCare Baby, even for pictures. And we like to share those in webinars and blogs and when we do presentations at different conferences. So today we've taken some of the very best ones we've gathered recently, and we've put them together in today's webinar that we'd like to share with you now. So a few of the things we'll be covering today were certainly some best practices from teachers around the country. We'll also be sharing some pictures with you on how many of the teachers are organizing baby and all the accessories in their classrooms. We have a series of free resources that we'll be sharing. And then of course, we will open it up at the end for some Q&A. So let's start off with best practices for using RealCare Baby. Our first best practice day comes from Arkansas. Gloria Wood Seward from Johnsonia, Arkansas, sent in her ideas. And she says she starts her routine, or her routine is to have her students sign up for a specific baby for a specific weekend, Friday to Monday. She has the start time of 4 o'clock each Friday, and the simulation stops on Monday at 7 a.m. She allows students to choose 1 3-hour quiet time during the weekend as a courtesy to them. But if students do have extenuating circumstances, she'll customize the start and stop times. She likes to keep all of the diaper bags ready at a moment's notice. She places the wristband with the appropriate ID in a Ziploc baggie with a sticky note, which baby the bag belongs to. And she also has her students dress the baby with clean and check that their diaper bag has an extra set of clothes and 2 diapers. And of course, those must be the 2 different colors. Then when she receives the RealCare Babies back, she checks to make sure that all the items are returned, and she checks the level of care taken with the baby, car seat, and equipment. And she says, I complete the appropriate responses on the assessment one at a time. Then she places all the clothes in a basket to be washed during the week, and she replaces them in the diaper bags before Friday, which is the day all the babies are checked out. She uses volunteers to use a baby wipe to sanitize the baby, the car seat, and the diaper bag. She places babies in the charging compartment. She plugs them in, and she says we replenish the wristbands and bracelets into the baggies, being careful not to get them mixed up. And she said by the next day, the babies are ready to be checked out again. Now, we have some best practices from the state of Minnesota, and Julie from Arden Hills, Minnesota shared the following. She said she's designed a 3-part RealCare Baby experience. First, she puts baby in demo mode and she practices over several days. And we really agree with this. Helping your students become successful with those 4 care events really is helpful when you use demo mode. Then she says each student who participates in the take-home experience completes 3 different surveys. There's a pre-survey where she's asking how they feel about taking the simulator home. Then there's a during survey, which asks a few short reflections on their experience at the time. And then there's a post survey, which is more in-depth questions about how the simulator affected their life. She also offers a parent interview paper for those students who don't want to take the simulator home. And we find that, again, is a great thing to be able to offer an alternative assignment for in those cases. Now, Kristen Dane, also from the state of Minnesota, submitted the following to us, describing some of the things she does in the schools with the infant simulators. And at the end of her submissions, she also shared a student quote. She says, we utilize the infant simulators in multiple classes. The junior high students first get to experience the simulators in the babysitting unit. They learn the basic care for infants, bottle feeding, diaper changes, clothing changes, swaddling, burping, etc. She sets these up in interactive stations. Now, students work in small groups, and there's an iPad set up with a video clip or instructions to accompany their paper activity guides. Then at the high school level, students and infants get the opportunity to take the simulators home for a weekend, again from a Friday to a Monday morning. She said we spend time in class practicing with the simulators before students begin taking them home to help them gain a level of comfort and confidence for a successful weekend ahead. There is an alternative assignment for those students unable to take the baby home. And she also shares with so many simulators, staying organized is key. So she tries to keep all of the clothing, the bottles, diapers, IDs, and student cards all in the diaper bag that is then placed in the car seat and labeled for each corresponding simulator. She has found it very helpful to program the simulators the night before and schedule the start time when she plugs them into charge to eliminate scrambling to program when students come back to pick up their baby. And I really want to share the student quote with you from Kristen because I thought it was great. So honestly, it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. It interrupted every aspect of my life and I couldn't do the things I normally did. And we frequently hear that from students around the country. Kristen also shared just what she felt the impact was, which you can read on your own, but I've pulled out a few of the most important parts. Number one, the purchase of a diverse selection of skin tones and gender, very key. Also, journaling is always a best practice that we highly encourage you to use. And she also feels that the simulation offers rich post-simulation discussion and reflection on the experience. So some good stuff there. Now, some best practices from the state of Iowa. We have Becky from Red Oak, Iowa, who shared the following. She said, in Realityworks materials, there are a lot of other sometimes missed materials. The one I like to share with my students is the lesson about hypo and hyperthermia. She has a whole lesson on this because in Iowa, where they're located, they have both extreme cold and hot weather conditions. So when they take their baby home, although they know it's not a real child, she wants them to think about leaving the baby in the car. She tells them that they may be questioned by people who don't know it's a computer baby. She tells them that they may have the police call on them if a stranger hears a baby crying in the back of an unattended car. And I will tell you, we have had teachers share with us many times that that has happened to their students. Now, they need to know how serious this is. And she covers a couple of videos also of people who have lost their baby to a heated car when the child was forgotten. And sadly, those are headlines that we see each summer around the country. And this lesson is really important and teaches some life-saving skills to your students. She said, this is a lesson I really want to hit home with them, and I know they are paying close attention. Now, Hillary Melhoff from the state of Oregon shared the following with us, and this was really unique. A few years back, she sadly lost her entire class, over 30-some babies and supplies to a fire. So she had to replace everything, and she had the benefit of being able to, start from ground zero. And she asked for some custom storage cabinets, and I thought that was a great idea. And you can see the pictures she shared with us and how wonderfully they work. Two in each level, and there's also places to plug the babies in to charge them. I thought, isn't that great? But to take it a step further, if you or your district had a pathway for construction or something similar, wouldn't it be great if you could have those students do like a cross pathway type of joint thing where they would come in, measure, design, and build the custom cabinets for you? I thought that could be just a great way to tie in some construction and measurement types of skills as well. Now we're going to share some best practices that we've had in some recent blogs on our website. And Lauren Williams, a teacher with over 19 years of experience, shared just a great wealth of information in a recent blog. And we wanted to highlight some of the things that she does in her program. And one thing she shared, she said, the principal came to my room the first year I did these. He told me that a mother called him and told him it was the best project her daughter had ever completed in high school. He's very supportive of the program. So getting administrator buy-in can really be helpful. So first of all, she says, use the free RealCare Baby program resources available at realityworks.com. She said it's a great site. She specifically uses sign-up forms along with parent permission forms. And she said, give your students more accountability over their baby experience by using the sign-up forms. So how she works it, she posts sign-up forms at the beginning of the semester, and it's the student's responsibility to write their name in for a weekend to bring the baby home. And she really advocates sending those babies home for at least 48 hours. She thinks it's best to do over a weekend, and we find many of our teachers do that. She'll schedule some quiet times if a student cannot get out of a work shift. However, in her case, they do need to make it up at the time at the end of the simulation. So if the simulation starts at 4 on a Friday, instead of turning the baby off at 4 on Sunday, they would extend the time to compensate for that. She says, make the most of your student's baby experience by using the software. She uses the infant care schedule table to program active times. She tells everyone that a 48-hour simulation will usually yield about 50 care opportunities. So she looks at the schedules to see when most of the care opportunities occur, and then she assigns them appropriately. Another thing she says is have your students download that free RealCare Baby app. And boy, do we recommend that. It is a free app for iPhone and Android. It has how-to information, FAQs, video guides for caring for baby, clips, video clips, safety precautions, and stress management tips. She said, that is one of the most important tools that have helped my students and my sanity. She insists that all of her students look at the app before they text her. She says, I've had so many students tell me and other students that the app has helped them. So that's a good tip from her. Other things she does to organize her supplies, she happened to find a 3-drawer cabinet brought from home, and she uses it. She places the baby bed in front of the electrical outlets. She plugs them all in, and car seats are stacked by the bed, and it makes it very easy. She also has some organizational tips for the pickup and drop off process, where she actually has students turn the babies in with both diapers on it and the bracelet or the ID tucked into the diaper. I thought, wow, isn't that a great way to just keep that all together? So thank you, Lauren, for that. Here's more tips, 10 RealCare Baby tips from successful users. And if you want to read more information about any one of the 10, if you go to the blog at the link at the bottom of the screen, there's more detail about each of these 10. But quickly, we'll go through the 10. Keep each baby's items in their own container. Keeping organized is key. And the next session of the webinar, I'm going to be sharing photos with you from around the country in classrooms on just that, how teachers are keeping things organized. Proper preparation is key. And it's really important if you're going to be using any type of permission slips that require signatures. Build in more days to get students to return those. Let your students practice during class. Again, the importance of using demo mode is really, really good because you want your students to be able to be successful doing those 4 care events. Get feedback from parents and guardians whenever possible. Get the parents and guardians, in fact, the whole family involved whenever possible. She said, require students to take baby out on the town. It's a great idea to have your students take baby when they leave the house. Many people in the community have seen baby, understand what it is, and it's just a great testament to the things you're doing in your program. Encourage open communication with students. Make sure that they have a way of communicating with you if they're having difficulty or if you're or are feeling overwhelmed. Have your students take responsibility if baby is harmed, meaning if you get an abuse, shutdown, neglect shutdown, or even if something happens to the baby, have some real life consequences for that. And here's one tip for you. Take advantage of Realityworks resources. We have tons of resources on the website in the 4 curricula that come with baby. So don't reinvent the wheel, but use what's there. Experience the simulation for yourself. If you haven't done so, we highly recommend that you take a weekend or just even one overnight, schedule, program the simulation, and try it out. That will help you understand the experience in a way that nothing else will. And then lastly, keep baby on display. If you are not using baby right away in your semester or your class, by keeping it on display, you've got a handy mannequin or demonstrator you can be using to even teach things like swaddling, that the baby doesn't actually have to be on, and you can be using it to do some of the infant caregiving skills with them. So now we're going to take a visual look at some examples of how teachers around the country are helping to keep themselves organized. Baby storage. We find that totes and storage bins are a great way to keep everything together and organized. So in this example, each tote has baby along with the items the student will need for the simulation. Stacking totes also makes storage a breeze. So the instructor in this example has color-coded the totes on the outside with circular stickers to help them identify. It might be gender, it might be skin tone, but or it might even be that they have a couple different types of models. So a great way to keep yourselves organized in your storage space. Now, the image you see here was taken from a video clip on YouTube of a RealCare Baby instructor. And you can see in the background, she's storing her babies on shelves, which have access to outlets for charging purposes. So again, just a great convenient way to get those babies up and out of the way. Now, here's an example of another type of shelving system being used to store baby. And you can see 2 per shelf, and they also have charging capabilities that they have access to with extension cords. This example shows a fun and easy way to keep supplies and accessories organized for each baby. A photo of each RealCare Baby was taken and put on a bin designated specifically for that baby's items. Now, this instructor has chosen to name each of her babies. She's also taped the name of the baby to the bin with a photo of the baby. Now, at a glance, the instructor can take the bin out with all of the supplies assigned to that baby, check them out, and check them in quickly. So each clothing item, also along with each supply, has the baby's name written on it so that everything that goes with one specific baby is very easily identified. Some creative customers around the country have found local storage solutions on wheels to purchase. And I thought this was great. This example was submitted by Beth Kiat from Floyd Johnson Tech CT in York, South Carolina. And she bought this cabinet and it fits baby boxes and supplies perfectly. So I thought brilliant find on her part. Here's yet another alternative storage cart solution that's being used by a customer. This customer is using a laptop cart, and as you can see in the attached picture, she can get 10 babies in this along with bottles and other supplies. So having a cart on wheels makes transporting the baby very, very easy. Now, this system was submitted by a teacher from Michigan, and she states, here's the organization system we use for the 18 babies we own. Babies are stored in a cupboard that has wheels because we use them between 2 teachers in 2 separate rooms. Plastic bins house all of the accessories and the clothing, and everything fits inside or on top of the cupboard. So how cool is this? Very, very good. Labeling. Now, this experienced teacher has numbered all of her babies and supplies, as you see in the photo above. We frequently also see teachers using alpha letters like baby A, B, C, D, and so forth. But you can see how she's numbered everything, again, making inventory very, very easy to keep track of. So storing car seats. We know that those can take up space. And here one teacher has a large walk-in closet connected to her room. She has a photo of each baby along with the baby name taped to the closet wall. And students can easily find the right spot to set down their car seat after the simulation experience. So she doesn't have to do it, but it makes the students a lot more independent. Now, here's a school that has many, many older car seat models from us stored on shelves. However, not all car seat models stack as neatly as these do. In fact, if you have the gift of many shelves in your room, stacking car seats might make sense. If you've not recently purchased car seats from us, we have designed a brand new type of car seat, and these stack and nest a whole lot better than the old ones used to. So if you have not taken a look at those, you can go and find those on our website store. Car seats can also be used to help keep your supplies organized as well as students. And here's one example where the instructor has each car seat lined up in the hallway with the student's name on the wall, and then everything is ready to go in the car seat. So when Friday afternoon rolls around, students come in, they get their IDs and babies, and they're on their way. And we also know that there are many classrooms that are built with long countertops against the windows on one side of the room. And this makes a great convenient space to set up car seats and have everything in them for each baby. And much like the prior slide, you could also have the baby's and or the student's name labeled on that shelf as well to make it even more user-friendly. Now, checklists are really a great organizational tool. We had a teacher submit this idea. She laminates a spreadsheet that has all of the pertinent information, and she reuses them with dry erase markers. She finds that this saves her just a ton of time and paper. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use and create checklists by laminating them, sometimes having them on a lanyard and so forth. So another good tool. So totes are a great way to keep everything together when handing your babies out to students. Not everyone will always have a car seat. So in this case, this teacher deploys babies by putting everything into a tote with a lid, and she hands the students the totes, and you can see they're going out the door with baby and everything they need for the weekend. So now that we've shared some of those organizational photos, we're going to share some more resources and things that we have for you. So first of all, we'd like to reiterate, we do webinars. In fact, we do webinars every month. And if you go to the link on our website, much like today's webinar, you can sign up for free. And even if you can't come, we will send you a recording, a link of the actual webinar, the presentation, handouts, and things like that. So we do many facts related webinars. Some are RealCare Baby related, some are about new products, some are best practices. So we highly also encourage you to go to the archived webinar section under facts and check it out. One more thing, we have some free resources, infographics and posters. These are available at the link above. There are many that relate to different kind of facts and facts related careers. So you can print those off and put them up on your wall in your classroom. We also have an implementation, a RealCare Baby implementation guide. And there are also many other free resources that are connected around that. Again, we've got blogs, webinars, curriculum samples, a lot of videos out there on our YouTube channel. The implementation guide, though, can really help you visualize how to lay out a RealCare Baby room, and it will also suggest some additional products we have that are great companions to the RealCare program. We also have a lot of free career exploration lessons around facts-related content. So if you are looking for some career exploration, you can go to the link that you see on the screen, and you'll find just a wealth of different career exploration lessons. I think there are a total of 15 out there. And then we also try to be very interactive and busy on our social media. So the blog is a great place for you to go to gain information on new facts products. We also have frequently asked for blog guest writers to share some of the things that are going on in the classroom as well. And we are very interactive on our Facebook and Twitter feeds. We also frequently see teachers sharing some of their best practices along with some of their pictures of the things that they're doing in their classroom. One other resource we like to point out is something called the RealCare Baby User Center. And it is linked from our RealCare Baby product page as well as our facts implementation guide. And it's kind of a go-to resource where you can go and you can find all of the sources you need for the RealCare program. So another good place for you to look. So at this time, I'm going to open it up for Q&A.